Do you, this question was posed, these long layoffs between games, this is the third time you've had to face this stuff. As a coach, do you like it? Does it suck?
No, on one hand, I really like it because you get practice time. And each year I'm in the NBA, you get fewer and fewer opportunities to have practice. So to have a really good practice yesterday, to have a good practice today, scale back a little bit in preparation for tomorrow night's game, on one hand, I like it from that aspect. Yeah. I could see if you're playing at a high level and you're winning games and you're on a big run, you probably don't want to stop that rhythm. But unfortunately for us, we're not in that situation right now. So we have to use this practice time to address all the areas of concern, and that's what we've done. So I have liked it this year because as coaches and teachers of the game, you get a chance to do just that.
We are approaching the anniversary of you putting Nikola Jokic in the starting lineup. Yokmas, if you will. I'm curious, when you think back to that decision, what has surprised you most about the player that he's become since then?
Well, when I made that decision, I knew it was going to help our team. I knew it was going to, just kind of let's cut out all the gray area. He's our best player. We're going to feature him in everything that we do, and every decision that we make moving forward is going to be centered around Nikola. And how do you, as a player, come in here and complement that? I'd be lying if I said when I did that in his second year in the NBA that I knew that we would win a championship and he'd have 3 MVPs. I did not know that was going to happen. But I did know we had a great player, man, whose greatest strength as a player is not only his IQ, but his ability to make everyone around him better. And that, I'm not surprised by how well he's played, how well we've played since that time, but I never foresaw that it would happen to the level that it has.
Are you surprised how the first quarters of how you guys play impacts the game? I mean, you play well in the first quarter, you win the game. It's that easy. And can you notice that out of your team in the first few minutes, how they're going to play?
Yeah, like that Washington game. If you go back and watch that in the first quarter, I think the first 3, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, there's like 8 turnovers. I mean, right away, that shows you as a coach or a fan or whoever, okay, man, these guys aren't really locked in. And now you're giving a team like Washington life and hope, and that's a dangerous thing. And we've talked a lot about it, obviously, 7-0 when you win the first quarter, 5-0 when you're up at the half, and the responsibility you have as a starter, especially for Jamal, CB, Michael, Aaron, Nikola, to get us off to great starts. There are a few occasions, Vic, where we've gotten off to good starts, and then when we've taken Nikola out or a few guys out, things have gone south fairly quickly, but you can tell with the discipline and the energy and the communication right from Jump Street if our guys are locked in mentally and ready to go.
Or you talk about sort of one less blow-by per game being part of the formula to a better defense. Like, how much of that sort of, regardless of a guy's reputation as a one-on-one defender, is just physicality? Where do you guys kind of feel like you're at from a physicality standpoint at that end?
Well, I think if you want to just talk about blow-bys in particular, because when I talk about one more, it's one more a lot of things. I mean, we're bad in transition, so one more sprint back. We're bad in terms of paint, to your point, Bennett. That means one more containment, one more trap to box, one more sink and fill. We're bad in terms of rebounding, one less leak out, one more finding a body being physically engaged. But with the containment especially, yes, do we have 5 Scottie Pippens out there? No, but you don't have to be Scottie Pippen to sit down and guard, to know who you're guarding. Is this guy a right-hand driver? Is he a left-hand driver? Is he a shot fake player? Last time we played the Clippers, we gave him 13 free throw attempts on fouling jump shooters. And we talk about it every time. Norman Powell is going to drive, search out the contact, and get fouled. James Harden's going to step back to his right, shoot the 3, and you got to give him room to land. And we continue to make the same mistake over and over. So yes, physicality can improve, but I also think the want to, the desire, and the discipline within that could also improve. So I think it's, when you're defending at the level we're defending, it's, I think, a lot of things thrown in there together.
Some pretty obvious bench struggles or struggles when Jokic is off the floor this year. Also true when you guys won the title. Why do you think this has just sort of been a common denominator in the Jokic years, just besides the obvious factor that when he's off the floor, you're missing your best player?
Well, I would just add on to that, not only we're missing our best player, but you're taking out the best player in the world.
Right.
I mean, like, it's one thing to say, yeah, we're taking out a good player, but like literally that guy's the best player in in the world.
Right.
In the galaxy. Let's go even further, right? Let's go even
Extend it.
further. I mean, in the Milky Way.
Whoa.
So that's part of it. But to your point, obviously, that's always been a man's search for meaning, our search for meaning. When Nikola goes out, how do we kind of handle those minutes and survive? And we're not talking about like going on a 20-5 run, but how can we just take him out and find ways to hold water? And I think depending on the year, it's different things for every team. I think this year he's up the ante because he's even playing better than he ever has. And now when you don't have Aaron for a bunch of games, and you don't have Jamal for a bunch of games, you're playing a bunch of young players and some new players. That's a really you throw all that becomes a lot to handle at times. And there's a reason that Nikola's minutes are the highest that they've ever been to this point in the season. And hopefully we can find a way to rectify that and find solutions to taking him out and finding a group that can go out there and play well and survive.
Adding off of that and off of Katie's question, the fact that when Nikola's not on the court, it's providing this existential crisis for what man has been searching for. Is it wild to think that he ever wasn't a starter when he was here with you, and just to think of how black and white the before Jokic years were and now?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, even with Jamal, like Jamal and I will often think about his first year or two in the NBA, and he was our backup two guard. I mean, we had Emmanuel Mudiay, we had Jameer Nelson, and Jamal Murray, who helped us win a championship, was backing up Gary Harris. And obviously, as you get into it and your team evolves and roles evolve, you realize, okay, for us to be at our best, Jamal's got to be our starting point guard. You go back to Nikola's rookie season. He was first team all-rookie as a center. Year two, a decision that was made between myself and our front office at that time, hey, let's try to play Nikola and Jusuf Nurkic together. And that didn't work. And then we brought Nikola off the bench, and then that's when I said, what am I doing? This guy was first team all-rookie as a center. Let's get back to playing him at his natural position where he's most effective, and that gave us a natural order of things where we've just kind of built from that day. So, yeah, I mean, the game evolves, players' career evolves, and love to see where Nikola started and where he's at now, and the fact that he's continuing to find ways to push the envelope and get better. When he's a guy that most guys probably think, well, he can't get any better. What can he add to his game? And he continues to find ways to be better, which is truly incredible.
From your conversations with Jamal lately, where's his head at right now?
I think he's in a good place. You know, I think he's frustrated. You know, you're frustrated with the injury. You're frustrated with knowing that, hey, I know I can play better. I know I can help this team more. You know, but I think it all starts, the beginning part of that all is getting him healthy. Because we know that when Jamal is healthy, we know what he's capable of. And when you're not healthy, you're not able to do all the things that you know you can do and that you want to do. And that's where I think a lot of the frustration lay. But he's had 2 really good days of practice. We'll see how he responds tomorrow. And if he's available tomorrow night, that'll be great to have him back, kind of getting our starting unit back together. It's really easy to look at a record at 12-10 and, oh my gosh, what's happening and where we are. I think we're in 7th place. And then I look at the standings, and we're a game or 2 games out of 2nd place in the West. We had a stretch early in the year against some really good teams that we went 5-0 at home. So I know what we're capable of when we're doing the right things. And that's our challenge, is to do the right things for longer stretches of time, more consistently. And that starts with being healthy and holding ourselves to a much higher standard.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Appreciate it, everybody.
Mo, it's gonna be quick, Mo. I promise, bro.
Good time, man.
No, hell, it's
Wisdom right there.
90 seconds right here.
90 seconds. Will you be a secret message?
Right here.
Great.
You're gonna love it.
DeAndre, we heard Jokic spoke to the team on Sunday before the game. There were also some quotes in the media. How often does stuff like that happen? Joker specifically speaking out?
He spoke. Who said he spoke?
I think I heard Michael Malone say that he challenged guys to speak up, and Jokic spoke to the team.
Oh, well, I mean, if Nikola was to speak, I'm sure it would be some positive things that he would have to say. You know, he didn't really talk that much because of his lack of English. However, when he does speak, everybody listens. And if he was to have said something Sunday, I'm sure it would help the guys respond in a positive way.
Gotcha.
DeAndre, at the quarter mark of the season, where do you think you guys are?
Not where we want to be just yet.
How do you get to where you want to be?
Habits, stringing together as close to 48 minutes of Nuggets basketball as we possibly can. No game is going to be perfect. We're going to give up things that we play in the scouting report. That's just the way it is. It's the game of mistakes, but we can't let those things compile and to the way they, make us lose games.
In your mind, what's the greatest priority in terms of adjustments you guys need to make?
I mean, we shouldn't be talking about effort and focus, especially with this team. That is sometimes what we talk about, and we've talked about that as a collective, players, not coaches. So it's something that we have to be better at. We have to hold each other a little bit more accountable, and know that the league has gotten a lot better. We can't just. And also, we've gone through some injuries that we've had, and so that's been unfortunate. But nobody feels sorry for us, so we got to be able to, pick it up, 1 through 15, to where, we are relying on everybody and not just a couple people.
How would you say this team has handled that type of adversity so far?
Both good and bad. I mean, it's a game of runs. It's a roller coaster. I think that, we're handling it okay. We haven't splintered, and it hasn't become a blame game. When you get to that point, I think the team is done. And we're not there. We know what we're capable of. We know the guys that we have in the locker room. We know that we have a group of coaches who can get us there. We just have to string it and put it together. Like I said earlier, close to 48 minutes as possible. We're going to just try to string together a few wins here, because once you win, that's all that matters.
How frustrating is the hot and cold nature of this team? I mean, I feel like Saturday, Sunday was a perfect encapsulation of that.
I mean, I'm a lot older now, so I try not to let that shit ruin my day or my season. You're going to lose games, and the Wizards are going to beat somebody. They were not going to lose 60 games in a row. Should it have been us? Absolutely not. But we didn't come out ready to play that night, and it just happened. So you got to take the good with the bad. We came out, we played against Atlanta. We had a really good showing. We just got to be able to do that against, teams that are leading the conference, teams that are middle of the pack, and teams that are below 500. We got to be able to come out with the same sense of urgency and focus, regardless of who we're playing.
I noticed you and Augie working on free throws. What is he coaching you through?
I coach him through English sometimes, and he coaches me through a lot of different. Ogie's great, man. He has done a thing or two with a pretty good player in Nikola. So I just try to steal some of those things as best as I can, and we work on a lot of one-hand things and not letting my right hand influence the ball, and just getting a lot of reps with Ogie, which has been great for me.
How do you like these extended off times, like these bye weeks, if you will?
Well, I get to hang out with my kids a little more, which is great. It does feel weird. It almost feels like an all-star break, except that we're practicing. Oh shit. But it's good. Some guys get to rest, guys who are injured, so that helps them with their recovery, and it also helps us kind of, clean some things up. We get extra practice time, which we don't really get during the season, where we're able to go live and have some physical practices, which have been great, and get us ready for I think we got a tough stretch in December, right? We got a lot of so this is the only break that we'll get, so got to be able to enjoy it.
Cool, thank you, DJ.
Thank you, guys.
Why is it a goal of yours personally to play in as many games as possible, given how tough a season is in the NBA?
Why is it? I just think it should be anyone's goal. I think, we don't have to do anything else besides worry about our body and worry about being available. So I think that unless you have an injury that you can't play through, I think that you should try to be there for your team. And that's just how I've always been. If I can play, I'm gonna play.
What aspects of your game do you feel your health and your strength most this year?
I'm not sure. I think it's more of I don't know. I'm playing pretty similar. I think I probably just want a little bit more in the paint, just from cutting, just from not settling for threes sometimes. Trying to play a little bit more inside out, I think.
How are you handling this bye week, if you will? It's your second one.
Yeah, taking advantage of the few days to try to get your body back to baseline and feel good. And then, work on the things we need to work on in practice. We haven't had a lot of practice time, so work on the areas that we need to be better in as a team.
You like these long breaks?
Sometimes I think, when you're in rhythm, sometimes it's nice to stay in that rhythm. But I mean, for guys that are banged up or for guys that have played a lot of minutes, a lot of games, it's always nice.
What do you think the defensive identity of this team needs to be?
I think we need to just, we have a big discrepancy between the first half and the second half. Defensively, I think we need to come into games and kind of impose our will, because when you give teams confidence, you ease into the game and let them ease into the game offensively. It'll give them confidence and make them feel loose. But if we can go into the game with more aggression and more, if you can go into the game with more aggression and just more tenacity, I think that can really help as the game goes on.
Yeah, how do you get off to better starts? What's the key to that?
Yeah, you got to get your body ready in warm-ups, and you also have to get your mind ready and just be locked in and just be prepared to go 100% from the tip and not warm yourself up the first few minutes of the game. You got to be ready to go.
Where do you feel this team is at the quarter point of the season?
I mean, we may not be exactly where we want to be wins and losses, but considering the things we need to work on and considering, some of the lineup changes, I feel like to have a winning record is nice, but we definitely need to be more consistent winning. We've had a couple bad streaks of losing so far this year, and we need to pick that up, I think.
Are players, is the room always more calm than the fan base? Like, fan base is panicking. Oh my God, they're not top 4 in the West. What's going on?
No, I think it's probably mirrored. Everyone sees what people are talking about. I feel like that affects, guys' level of even killedness here. I feel like but sometimes you need some tension and you need a wake-up call. So I feel like it's definitely been not peaches and roses the past couple weeks.
Yesterday, talking with Christian, he said maybe some of these ups and downs, this less than ideal start to the first quarter of the season, could be good for you guys, a kind of punch in the mouth to wake you up. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, we're about a quarter of the way through the season, so we have so much time to take these weaknesses and turn them into strengths and work on them in practice. And hopefully, as the season goes on, we can minimize those weaknesses that we have and be ready for the postseason. But I feel comfortable where we're at, but we're definitely not where we want to be.
What did you see from Julie in those last couple games over the weekend, and what are kind of the challenges of developing a consistency as a young player in that kind of mix?
Yeah, I mean, he made some shots. I was happy he made some shots. I feel like in that second unit, he's such a talented scorer, and I feel like we can be doing more to try to get him going, because I feel like we need him off the bench to put the ball in the hoop. He's one of our only volume three-point shooters, so I feel like just as a team, as players, as coaches, we can try to get him going a little bit more, and I think it'll help my team out a lot.
Coach was talking yesterday about getting more three-point looks and mentioned you specifically, but your game also has expanded offensively. How do you balance knowing this team needs more three-point makes, but also staying within the flow of what you've already established?
It's a balance. I feel like, we need to be shooting more threes, and I'm one of the only other, I would say, volume three-point shooters on the team. So I think just mixing it up, but when I have an open look, shoot the three and kind of hunt a few more threes again.
Cool. Thanks, Michael.